Doom Vivamus Vivamus Epicureans. This is the Marvel Epic Collection Podcast One-Shot Edition. I'm your host, Nick Smith, and I'm joined by...
Stojr from Stojr Shelf. How's it going, Nick?
Doing well, particularly since we're participating in Kurtis Findlay's Epic Marvel Podcast Reading Club, and this one-shot is going to be our brief thoughts on today's issue, which is X Men number 119, Uncanny X Men number 119, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and Terry Austin returns on inks now. Okay, so the X-Men infiltrate the volcanic base of Moses Magnum, who had been threatening the island of Japan. We learn that Magnum underwent a strange transformation after his supposed death in Power Man Annual number 1, which gave him super strength and the ability to manipulate earthquakes, provided I remember that correctly. So he was using that power to threaten Japan. Well, Magnum was able to hold his own against the X-Men, but when he ran off to activate his destructive devices to, again, destroy Japan, Banshee uses his sonic scream to counter the energy waves, and that effort results in Banshee losing consciousness and severely damaging his vocal cords. The issue then ends with Jean Grey arriving in Edinburgh to meet up with Moira McTaggart, and we get the hint of something ominous is happening on Muir Island. All right, Stojr, what are your thoughts?
So I think there's a lot of interesting use of powers in this issue. So I love that they're continuing Nightcrawler being able to be somewhat invisible in darkness and in shadows. I like the Storm distracting people with the fog and the storm above things and blowing people around with the wind. And you got Cyclops and Sunfire sort of digging this tunnel underneath the riverbed or the bay or whatever this is here. All of that's pretty cool. I found it funny that they pop their heads up thinking Nightcrawler's going to be there, and they just get sucker punched by the villain. And the battle ensues. It's a fitting sort of sacrifice for the guy who can scream to lose his voice, so to speak, in this issue. So I thought that was interesting. We tied in that this is a Christmas issue, which is not as Christmassy as the last one we had, but is nice that people didn't forget Sean as they go through this stuff. So and we touch on that family dynamic of Colossus. While setting up some of the chess pieces in the last couple pages for the next story arcs, right? We got Jean placed in Muir Island with everyone else, and then this ambiguous villain that is striking havoc on the last page here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I love seeing the determination of Colossus in this one, not only with him being punched by Moses Magnum, and it was incredible to see him flying like that. That gives you a sense of the power of this villain that they're going up against, right? He's no pushover if he can do that to Colossus. But then Colossus comes back, he just lays into the Mandroids afterwards, living up to his name of being, a big hulking Colossus. That I thought was a lot of fun, and good to see something done with Colossus. We've gotten some hints lately of he feels like he's not pulling his weight and so forth, and this was him trying to fix things. So that was great. For me, the international flair of the book really started to get to me in this issue. Obviously, it takes place in Japan, right? But then the little bit at the end, the coda at the end with Jean having supposedly been in Greece and then being in Scotland, the scene where she gets off the train in Edinburgh kind of hit hard with me, I think, probably because I used to live about 2 hours south of Edinburgh via train ride, so I've taken that train before, the Flying Scotsman. I know exactly what they were talking about, how little sun there is in December, and it maybe just kind of hit me with a bit of nostalgia for when I lived in England. But that was kind of nice to see and feel. But yeah, overall, I kind of feel like we keep seeing the same things. This is a great issue. It's a great issue. Well, it is, right? There's a reason why this is such an acclaimed run on the X-Men. It's just great stuff, one after another.
Yeah, and I've filled out some of the later series, the later books in my X-Men collection with complete collections or thick trades. Around Uncanny 400, somewhere in that area, right?
Mm-hmm.
and the stories are nowhere near this, right? So if we were reviewing those books, there'd be a lot of like, what the hell did I just read? Type of issues in them. So and we'd be fishing out the stories that are good. So yeah, this run is acclaimed for a reason. And frankly, like, even with Chris Claremont. So I recently picked up both recently. I just got one of them, but within the last year, I've gotten both X Men Reloaded volumes 1 and 2, both written by Chris Claremont, mostly when he returned to the X Men, somewhere in the neighborhood of like 440 or something like that. And it's not as strong as this stuff, and it's the same writer. So this stuff is great, and it's great for a reason. It's well written, it's well drawn, it's well inked, it's well colored. It has interesting dynamics with people's powers, and we should enjoy it while it lasts.
Yep, absolutely. All right, I do have a no prize for this one. Continuing with my no prize award run here, the Inspired Insets Award goes to the caption boxes in this issue. The framing around Moses Magnum on page 195, and then the train in Edinburgh on page 200, I thought just really fit well. I'm assuming the caption boxes are designed by the letterer, in which case a shout out to John Costanza for this one. It doesn't happen often, but there's a couple instances where the shape of the caption boxes I thought just fit the art really well, and that's nice that you get the words are part of the art, right?
Yeah, I would agree. They look great.
All right, Stojer, any other final thoughts?
Just looking forward to the next issue.
Yep, absolutely. So, again, if you've enjoyed our thoughts, follow us on YouTube. We're going to read, rate, and review a full Epic Collection trade paperback every month, including these daily episodes, so long as the reading club continues. All right, thanks very much, audience. You've been awesome. We will see you again tomorrow.